What's good, sports gamers? Today I'll be going over how to use the rotation timeline for my MyNBA gamers and how to get creative with it by thinking ahead so you're not worried about substitutions in the heart of battle in NBA 2K25. So all right, let's get it. Start, you want to access the substitution screen by going into your coaching menu, then coaching game plan. Once you're on your team's coach game plan, you can select if you want to choose it against a specific team or against everybody. For simplicity, we're going to hit all teams by hitting X on PlayStation and A on Xbox. Once you do that, hit the start button on your controller to access your rotation timeline. You should now be on this screen. Note again, this is if you strictly want to let the computer make the substitutions for you while you're playing. So if you do, I suggest setting up your own sub patterns, which you can run with your rotation timeline here. There are 4 modes you can set this up with on the bottom left there: paint mode, substitution mode, position mode, and role mode. The best mode, in my opinion, to do this will be paint mode, as it's the easiest and most straightforward way. Now, if you're like, what the heck am I looking at? Each colored bar going sideways lines up with the minutes at the very top, representing 4 12-minute quarters, and when each player will be on the court. This has the starting lineup playing the first 7 minutes, and then the bench comes in with Holmgren switching to center. If you go up and down, there will never be more than 5 colors on the line because obviously you can only have 5 players on the court at the same time. Each position is a color. Point guards are red, shooting guards green, yada yada. And to the far right will be how many total minutes that player will play based on your inputs. As you can see, by default, Gilgeous-Alexander and Holmgren will play the most because Shea plays the whole second quarter and Holmgren switches between power forward and center. Now I'm going to clear it. I recommend doing this and build a rotation timeline based on 12-minute quarters. I'll show you how to work with shorter quarters right after this. And you clear the timeline by hitting X or A on your controller and then scrolling over each block of minutes and hitting square if you're on PlayStation and X on Xbox, or clicking in the right stick to clear all. With everything clear, you're going to start painting the timeline. The game will tell you if you don't have all 5 positions on the court in any minute with the column at the bottom. You see how it says -5 on all of them? I'm going to quickly give Shea minute 1 point guard duties. As you can see, it went to -4 because 4 positions are left to give a minute to start the game. To erase that, highlight it and then tap X or A on your controller, or tap L1 or LB to undo it. Another key thing you must know is to highlight what position you want to give somebody by hitting triangle or Y on your controller before you do so. The box will blink and then you scroll down with the D-pad or left stick. And once set, hit X or A to confirm that you want to start handing out that position's minutes to that player. We're going to work with just the first 12-minute quarter first. I'm going to do a basic hockey sub at the 6-minute mark with the starters and bench guys. I'll start with the point guard position by hitting triangle or Y on my controller, cycling to the point guard position, then hitting X or A to confirm. Then I'll go to Shea, hit X or A again to confirm I want to give out point guard minutes to him. Once here and confirm you want to start giving out minutes to that player, you can move the D-pad or left stick to the right. I can fill out the allotted minutes with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as my point guard for however many minutes I want. For this video, I'm going to give him 6 minutes in the first quarter. I can either look to the right to make sure it's at 6 minutes, or if you're closer to your TV or monitor, see if it lines up with the 6-minute mark above. Once done, hit X or A to lock it in. Now at the bottom, as a reminder, my first 6 minutes are accounted for with my point guard. And you see the -4 going across. Now I'm going to give Caruso the other 6 minutes at backup point in the first quarter. So scrolling to his name and doing the same thing. The key here is to make sure you're starting after Gilgeous-Alexander's minute bar ends so you don't steal any of his minutes when you switch to Caruso. What I recommend is to start as Shea, move over 1, then go down to the player you want. So again, go down to Caruso, hit X or A, then drag across how many minutes you want him to play. We want him to play the rest of the first, so up to 12 is where you want to go. Again, to confirm you're at 12, you can either look to your right or scroll up to the final minute he's supposed to play to make sure it lines up. Then back down and hit X or A to lock the final minute in. Now we have our Thunder's point guard rotation for the first quarter. I'll do the same with Dort, but he's a shooting guard, so I'll hit triangle or Y, scroll down to shooting guard and lock it in. Then move over to his name and hit X or A to tell the game I want to start giving shooting guard minutes to people. Then drag again and hit X or A to lock it in. Now you see the bottom tells me I have 3 positions left to fill. I'll throw Wallace the rest of the shooting guard minutes that quarter. Rarely do teams sub everybody at the same minute mark like this, but for this video I'm keeping it basic. I'm going to fast forward a bit and fill out the rest of the team with the same 6-minute blocks. Now I showed you how to avoid this, but if you accidentally steal a minute from another player, like if Williams messes up Holmgren's minutes and steals one, you can fix it. Make sure his position is enabled, then go back up to Holmgren and double tap X or A to paint that minute back on his row. One of the fun things is you can have different guys play with different players instead of being static in your rotations. Maybe you want Shea's second time on the court to be paired with Wiggins and let Williams run a second unit without Shea. Wiggins might be a bit tired playing 12 minutes straight, but you get the picture and it will look like this. Now I'll fill out the rest of the first half minutes with the same setup as before, just with Shea and Williams being broken up. At the start of the second half, let's say we like giving Holmgren some center minutes to spread the floor a bit, just to give a different look, and want to start limiting Hartenstein. We scroll over to Chet's row, switch to center by hitting triangle or Y, and then scroll to center with the D-pad or left stick and lock it in. Drag across, and now we have our first 6 minutes in the second half at center for him, with Hartenstein now getting the backup 6 minutes in the third. Now again, you don't have to do 6-minute bursts for each guy. You could do 8 and 4, 9 and 3, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you see stars go all out at the end, so I'm going to scrap the 6-minute stuff. I'll let my bench guys play a bit into the fourth, give them an extra 2 or 3 minutes, then let all my starters ball the rest of the way, with Holmgren at center and Williams finishing it out at power forward the rest of the way. Using these 6-minute runs as a guideline with some alterations, I ended up with every starter playing at least 25 minutes except Hartenstein because I turned him into a backup in the second half. Now obviously if you want your starters playing more, you can easily change it by stealing their backups minutes. Just extend their minutes bar, which simultaneously erases the other guy's time on the court. Now if you play less than 12-minute quarters, it will adjust based on how many minutes that player is playing that specific quarter. Some easy math, so if you have Shea playing 6 minutes and Caruso 6 in the first, but you're only playing 6-minute quarters, that's half the amount of the time. So their minutes will be cut in half to adjust for that. So they both will end up playing 3 or around 3 minutes each, just to stay consistent of playing half the first quarter. So if you play 4-minute quarters, they will each play 2 minutes to again stay consistent. And this is consistent no matter the quarter length. So if you play odd number of minutes, it will attempt to stay as close to their minute pie as possible there. So 7-minute quarters, Shea might play 4 or 3 since you can't get half of 7. Sorry I got mathy there, but I hope you understood me. So now we have completed a full rotation timeline using what I believe is the best setup to do so in NBA 2K25. Sorry people, if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to Sports Gamers Online for more NBA 2K25 content. And once you're with us, hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss anything we put out. All right, people, I'm Chris. Thank you all for watching, and be good, y'all.